One of the things that we keep coming across at Music Tech Fest is the intersection between music and technology and games. I'm one of the advisors for a company called Bandcamp, and what Bandcamp is a platform for independent musicians to sell their music online. It's a fantastic thing. Basically, it solves so much for independent music, which is a fantastic thing. But one of the really interesting things that we found at Bandcamp is that the single most popular category of music on the website is independent game music. And one of the things that we realized is that when people play games, certain things happen when they're in certain emotional states. This is the music that I hear when I feel clever and I've solved a puzzle. This is the music when I'm excited. This is the music I feel when, I'm kind of anxious. And things that you listen to when you're in heightened emotional states is music that becomes very important to you. This is why the best music in your life is whatever you happen to be listening to when you were 15 years old, because you're continually in an excited emotional state when you're 15 years old. And so the interaction between games and music, and not just in terms of music within games, but music as game as music, the intersection of how human beings play, which is, it's no mistake that we play music, is really important. And so when we moved to Umeå and started asking around, we're doing Music Tech Fest, who are the important people we should speak to, who are the kind of the key figures in the Umeå landscape. We initially got told, well, a whole lot of people, actually. There are some fantastic companies here. Toontrack is one of them that make fantastic software. They're based here. There are some amazing bands from here. There are sort of amazing technology companies. But one person's name kept coming up again and again, and it was Jan Bidner. And they said, he's the gamification guy. He's the guy who's all about games. And it's like, well, I see the connection. I don't know if everybody else will immediately see the connection between gamification and music and technology, but Jan's here and he's going to show us what that connection is. Jan Bidner, please come and join us. Thank you.
I love sounds. I love music and noises, and I also like the absence of sound. I love how sounds move me and how they can put me to ease. How they exist in the room, create images, even though you close your eyes. And let's do that. Let's close our eyes, okay? No cheating. Do you know what this is? Did you know that whales communicate at a frequency span of about 10 to 40 hertz? Except for this guy. This guy, he communicates totally off pitch at the odd frequency of 52 hertz. It's some kind of a whale, and it's been swimming the Pacific Ocean since at least 1989, because that's when the scientists first spotted him, looking for a spouse on the completely wrong wavelength. So he's still lonely. Might be the loneliest sound in the world. So that is one thing, being unable to communicate, being on the wrong wavelength, using the wrong frequency and the wrong sounds. Nice echo. So I'm into gamification. And I'm using two mics, and one doesn't work, so I will take it off. I'm into gamification. And gamification is about applying the best ideas from games into non-gaming contexts like learning, education learning, marketing, or enhancing any process you could think of. And games are a lot about feedback. Gamification uses feedback elements from games, and game-like experiences like increased challenges, rewards, and fun. And it uses that to motivate people, because games are superior in that, motivating people. And sounds. Sounds are a central feedback element in video games, and even in some gamified experiences, and also in regular UX. Like a sound of a digital button, what does it sound like? If you take a camera phone, what does it sound like? Like a mechanical shutter. But it shouldn't have to. It does. Does the sound precede your action? Does it come before and encourage you to do something? Or is it a reaction to something that you do? Do the sounds warn you? Do they try to direct you to do something? Or do they reward you? Do they move you? Rewarding sounds are sounds that give you exactly what you want, like a release. Like for example, when you play Super Mario and you collect coins or get a power-up, or a twang when the arrow hits the target, or a headshot in CS, or that unexpected sound when you hit the monster in Petson and Mucklorna. I was thinking a bit how you could use that in a context like this. Actually, I woke up this morning and thought there was something missing in my presentation. So I want to interact with you now. If any one of you have a smartphone, could you go to this address? Oh, it doesn't show there. It's endigo.se/MTF. And you will get these buttons. These are sound buttons. So I want you to interact with me by making noises. Do you get it? Do you have an internet connection? Yeah. If you push the first button, the green one is birds, like a sweet summer's day. And the second one is like this. I couldn't come up with anything better that wasn't too intrusive. And it means sort of, yeah, okay, go on. And the last one is rain. Imagine biking in the rain and having that anger feeling trying to get through. So I would like to encourage you to give me this audio feedback while I'm doing it. Okay, I'll go on. All right. I was just thinking this could be an excellent way to provide feedback, because you never know. When you're standing on a stage, you might be terrified about what are they thinking. Oh, that's polite. I said gamification is about motivating with game-like elements, and sounds are a game-like element. And also, you don't say much as an audience, but and if you say something, you might do it as a way of being polite, like nodding or applauding, even though you think, oh, that is not so good, but maybe if I do like this, I can motivate him. You can motivate by positive reinforcement and by negative reinforcement, and also by honest reinforcement, of course. But we're not so good in Sweden being honest. And in fact, you could develop it further if you did this. If lots of people pushes the, yeah, okay, go on, that will be a big one. So you can have these measurements from this and see how it goes while I talk. And also you could put it on a time scale and see when did I start losing it, and when was the peak. Oh, that was the peak. Okay. So sounds have different connotations in different contexts. Like this ship bell, for example. in old times it was used to signal time and to regulate sailors' duty watch. But these days you use these ship bells for security purposes in foggy conditions. But and it sounds like this. But this bell actually hangs in an office space nowadays, at a sales office in an open landscape. And every time someone makes a big sale, they get to ring the bell. Because studies have shown that peer recognition motivates sales force even more than a race. It's like a big Facebook wall where you can brag about something that you did. But this is even more efficient in an open landscape because people can see that it's you that rings the bell. Ding, ding, I'm a success. I made the sale. Car backing radar system is another great example of good usage of sound. You're backing the car, and the sound tells you if you are approaching a boulder or a wall or maybe another car. And it's a great use. You also have the TV screen showing the picture, but this is the superior way of communicating in that situation, I think. But maybe a bit boring, don't you agree? How about adding some Hollywood horror aesthetics to this? Maybe you're backing, approaching the boulder, another car, maybe the wall. Yeah. Or maybe you can use this one. Backing out the pier. Yeah, you get the picture. You can play with sounds. And fun is part of motivating. I work with two geniuses at Society, where I spend most of my days. It's an IT consultant firm here in Umeå. John and Anders. And Anders is a brilliant interaction designer who's been working both with Sony Ericsson mobile phones and interfaces for battle wagons. Anders made me aware that sounds are very intrusive. They are the main sense. Sounds can be so intrusive that they invade you totally. Also, they are the least private output. You can't direct sounds the way you do with screens. So you often, when it's a system or service, you tend to use earplugs or shut off the volume. Anders, he likes music, and he also likes riding bikes. So he likes riding a bike, listening to music, and that could potentially be dangerous, you know, not hearing the traffic. So Anders, he thought he would invent this application that would help him to solve this, instead of shutting the music off and on. So he did an application that would lower the music when he approached the traffic crossing using GPS coordinates, and also using data from open databases about how much accidents there have been in this specific traffic crossing. I think that's pretty cool. John, he loves games. He loves making games. He made this game about a farting hedgehog called Piki Piki. He made the sounds himself, and even the farting sounds. John made an application that would play a sound when you approached a certain GPS coordinate, like so you can build augmented landscapes with music and sounds. But he also tweaked this application so that it would wake him up if he fell asleep on the morning bus approaching his work.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Okay. Sounds can also be very powerful and even make you sick. Like some burglar alarms that would attack your senses and your balance nerve, so you weren't unable to leave the crime scene, at least with any goods in store. So, to sum it up, sounds can make you do things, move you, and warn us, and even reward us. Thank you. This is the sound I want to leave you with.
Thank you, Jan Bidner. That's beautiful. Such a lovely noise.